Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. We are talking My Hero Academia Vigilantes, chapters 19 through 22. I'm your host today, President Mike, joined always by the great Mad Doc himself, the puns that pop up, the puns that never stop, the Emblemaniac, Isaac Wolf. Isaac, it's been a minute since we did Vigilantes. First off, how are you? I guess, the state of the world is very crazy, so making sure everybody's good.
Yeah, it's just insanity here as always. And I'm tired. Not tired enough that I should have my unofficial second avatar, but I'm tired.
Yeah, you're tired. Yeah, I there's not really much more we can say about that. You're powering through though, as always, so you're a trooper. That's great. We're talking Vigilantes episode 19, which is titled Family, which is very Fast and Furious esque. There's no Hobbs and Shaw references to be made anymore at this point. In this chapter, we're looking for our B villain, our B themed villain. And the first couple pages is a
that
bit weird.
Can certainly not behave.
Oh yeah, she really can't, and it's funny because we have our Wolverine themed villain anti-hero bully that we met in like the first issue, and who I still don't remember his name, but he's helping Knuckle Duster by going to her school and trying to figure out if anybody's seen her, what's her name, yada yada yada, and we get this really awkward scene where I guess he runs into her and her bees attack him from under her skirt. There's no way to skirt around this. We're gonna leave that alone. We're not gonna talk about pussy bees today.
Let's just say that
put that away.
You could have said that her cat spew out bees. That would have been much more appropriate.
You see, this is a children's book, and they are not making this. They're not selling this as a children's book. Essentially, this is too uncomfortable. Me, as a grown man, am not comfortable phrasing with this teenage girl lifting up her skirt and a million bees flying out. It's just, I don't know what they were thinking with this panel. Who wanted to draw this? There's just so many questions to be had that we don't have time for because
I have seen weirder.
That's what scares me. Like My Hero Academia is supposed to be the wholesome one, right? No. That's the thing that's scary. It's like My Hero Academia is supposed to be the wholesome, half shonen battle manga, half slice of life manga, but then we get nonsense like this. And granted, this isn't My Hero Academia, the main series. They probably thought they could get away with it, but I am fighting back.
I just did a commentary track with Brandon about Ninja Resurrection, and just that alone is just 1,000 times more insane. So
think of the children, Isaac. Think of the children. That's all I'm saying. Kids, right?
They can handle stuff like this. Stuff like this doesn't sting.
Oh, that was actually well done. You know what? I appreciate that pun. We give Knuckle Duster the Mr. Freeze origin story. Sick wife, not much he can do. He's going to be there for her anyway. We do discover that she has a mysterious eye patch over her. Is that her right eye? And yeah, so first off, Knuckle Duster has this really interesting origin story, not origin story, but like backstory that they're revealing here. Considering he was just like the grizzled, ruffled geezer of the group, they're sprinkling in bits of like humanity into his character. So, what are your thoughts on the whole hidden family that we didn't know about, and like the softer side of this character? Isaac, if you're talking, you're muted.
And didn't talk. I just listened to what you said.
Right, but I asked you a question.
Can you repeat that question?
The question is, what are your thoughts on the direction they're taking this character, like revealing this new element to him that we didn't even know existed?
Well, that just confirms that his act might not be in just some simple act after all, if that makes any sense. That we talked about in previous episode about was this just a ploy to cover up for Koichi, or what? Is this something more than we don't know about Knuckle Duster? And I think it's safe to say that he.
Mm-hmm. Knuckle Duster is an interesting character because this is very much an origin story for Koichi and Popstep. But this guy's been around for a while. You can tell by the scars on his body, on his face. You can tell by the attitude that he has that he's seen some stuff, right? That we aren't fully aware of. And so I kind of like giving it to us in bits and pieces, and we kind of learning gradually about him while we're still building up Popstep and Koichi as heroes or vigilantes in this case. And I think that balance is really well done. In this particular chapter, chapter 19, we don't learn too much aside from like that initial shock. And we also learn that our B villain, she like goes home, but there are like two corpses that she's calling mom and dad, which is just very disturbing energy. I don't know, imagery, I should say. It was very off-putting. Again, think of the children. This was terrifying.
But I've seen weirder.
Yeah, just because you've seen weirder doesn't make it less weird. So
that depends on how you. That depends on who you ask, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, two weirds don't make one right, you know. Anyway, we end the chapter with this Batman-esque montage. Like if you remember Ben Affleck and Batman versus Superman, of him like working out to kill Superman at the end of the movie. We kind of do that at the end of this chapter with Knuckle Duster, which is pretty funny. But then he like stares at this picture of this girl who is the same girl we were trying to track down at the beginning of this chapter, and he's all like, "You're not gonna get away this time." And I'm not sure if that's saying that they have history, or if that's just they fought before and he's not gonna let her escape this time. We'll get into that again in the next few chapters. So that moves us on to episode 20, which is titled Discovery. And this is an interesting pivot in tone because it's doing that thing, like I said again, how My Hero Academia tries to do, of balancing mystery battle shonen with slice of life nonsense. The next 3 chapters are essentially covering Popstep getting the opportunity to perform at some sort of free live show, right? And
you can sort of say that the tension pops for a moment.
Yeah, again, we peaked at the beginning of the show, man. there's not much more you can say, but
you can try me.
I know. I think that was just a challenge for you now, wasn't it? You're gonna just keep doing it. So Pop is very nervous. I think it's really interesting, and this just shows how superheroes usually are depicted, right? Of how shy and awkward Popstep is when she's just with her friends, as opposed to the flamboyant, barely dressed pop star we see on the street giving all these giant performances. She's very nervous and very uncomfortable with this idea. So Koichi and Senpai have to work together to bring the show together. It reminds me of that My Hero arc with Gentle Criminal and like the UA festival. I don't know why we kind of threw that in the middle of this series, but it had the same kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can certainly see that.
Yeah. So Captain Celebrity is fighting a giant Koopa. I don't know why. That's a thing that happens. And Senpai, since she works with Captain Celebrity, is like, hey, we'll have him sponsor the show and it'll make it a bigger event than it was ever intended to be. Which only puts more pressure on Pop Step. I just want your thoughts on just first off the pivot in tone from chapter 19 to chapter 20. Did that catch you off guard at all?
Yeah, it certainly caught me off guard. You can, it just okay. It's not like the hunt for the bee girls arc has stopped and all that. Yes, it's in the middle of an. This happens in the middle of an arc, not after an arc. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's really weird pacing wise. It reminds me of, and you read more manga than me, so maybe this is a thing that happens. But in Western comics, right, you have a story going, and then you have a random tie-in comic that replaces the arc that you were currently reading. For example, Nightwing, right? Nightwing had this arc where he has to fight this new villain that pops up in Bloodhaven, and it's for like 10 issues. He's dealing with this threat with Oracle and Robin, and then out of nowhere, a team up with Red Hood just gets thrown in there for like two chapters. And it comes out of nowhere. It's really weird. But then it's over, and you get back into the main plot. It feels like that's what happened here, and it was just really jarring.
And can we also mention that how should I put it without going in? It just how should I put it with a it also doesn't makes it even more jarring when chapter 21 ends, where basically they introduce what can only be explained as a kaiju that is apparently obsessed with pops.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a really good jumping off point. Get it? Because he's a frog-based villain. I pulled a U there. And
I'm so proud of you, my friend.
We get into episode 21, which is titled Training. And we're just picking up where chapter 20 left off. We're putting together this presentation, this event thing going on here. And it's again that slice of life thing where there's no hero crap at all being done in this chapter. We even have two people fall in love at first sight, which is just kind of strange, especially since they're two characters we have no idea, no connection to. So they're trying to put this together. This is a lot. It's interesting to me because this is very Pop and Koichi centric, right? They're not dating in this mini arc, I would say, but it really feels like they are. Like they're just a couple now, right? Did you get that vibe at all?
So it's just why not just confirm it that they're going to date at this point? It's kind of that scenario, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's probably just because Koichi's a freaking idiot. Like Deku.
No. I argue that he's even more an idiot than Deku in this regard, but I digress. And but that's saying something. Also, I have to say that the Eraserhead and the Midnight fans got just a specific line or fuel their unfortunate fire, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, that's next chapter. I want to stay here right quick because you mentioned kaijus and Captain Celebrity is just fighting King Kong. in the middle of this chapter. I don't know why. Maybe we needed an action panel for this chapter. Otherwise, Shonen Jump would have been mad.
Yeah. And I will go so far to say that if Captain Celebrity dies in this spin-off, I won't complain one single bit.
Yeah, he's no star. We'll just put that there. There are way better US based heroes than this guy.
Yeah.
Episode 22, Sermon. This is an interesting one because you look at the first page here, and it's the performance that they're putting on, and this is where you mentioned like Midnight Aizawa, Present Mike. They all make appearances in this issue, in this chapter, and I think it's really just cool how Makoto, I believe is her name, how she was able to put this all together in like 2 weeks' time with Captain Celebrity's money. And it's like, yeah, bleed that guy's wallet dry, right?
I don't mind if she can make him get to bankruptcy, as far as I can care. As far as I care.
Yeah. So all of these pro heroes are here. You see Best Genist in the background. You see Death Arms in the background. I hate Death Arms. Yeah, we're just gonna. I don't think the anime's up to that point yet, but we're gonna leave that alone. Endeavor wouldn't come, and Genium wouldn't come. All Might probably can't come because he's got a time limit that nobody knows about. Nice detail there. Aizawa is only going to come because Midnight and Present Mike are his best friends and he owes them, which I thought was a nice touch. I like seeing the relationship between Present Mike and Midnight. These are just elements that the main series doesn't touch on. How do you like seeing like these pros from a different angle? We're not seeing them from a student master perspective. We're just seeing them as like comrades and coworkers when they're in
Which is a nice change. Which is a nice change of pace, considering we really don't delve into the teachers a lot there in the manga. The closest thing I can think of when it comes to this is, I believe, in the anime, but that's also from a side manga. I can't recall it. No? Okay, no. I won't mention it, but it's one from, the one with Isabella, what I talked about. Mm-hmm. That one episode in the anime. That's the only time in the anime, at least, that I can think of that they gave some extra spot to the teachers.
Some background on Mike Aizawa and Shirakumo. Yeah. That was in the latest season of My Hero Academia. If you're somehow listening to this and haven't watched that, do yourself a favor. Go to Crunchyroll and watch My Hero Academia. They have dubs now, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Eraserhead gets stopped by that kaiju that we met at the end of the previous chapter, chapter 21. And I just love how awesome Eraserhead is in battle. Like, his quirk is just to turn off quirks, but this guy's quirk can't turn off because he's a mutant, I guess. But that doesn't really stop Aizawa anyway. He's got that Batman air to him where it's just like, yeah, I've got the gadgets and the tools I need, but even so, I'll just beat you down until you submit, which is kind of funny.
And that's why we love Eraserhead.
Yep. So this is what comes to a major head here, where the B-Girls is waiting, trying to ruin this mini festival, again akin to Gentle Criminal and La Brava in My Hero Academia season 4. But she's talking, and then Knuckle Duster kind of walks up on her, and he's ready to engage, right? And he says, "You're coming home, Tamoe." Mom's waiting.
Is she his daughter?
That's what this chapter's leading us to believe.
Which is okay then.
That came out of nowhere.
I did not see that. I did not see that coming. I mean, it explains why. It explains why he was so specific with that picture.
It also explains why, think about it, he's so invested in getting Trigger off the streets. If Trigger was a big deal, wouldn't Endeavor, All Might, Best Jeanist, Present Mike, Midnight, Eraserhead, wouldn't they be the ones like trying to take care of that? And even in My Hero Academia, we see them doing that in season 4. Like when it becomes rampant, that's when Night Eye and those other pro heroes kind of step in. It's just it makes sense now because he's probably way more invested in this than he should be because of that personal connection. Again, this story arc is a couple years old. We can literally read the next chapter and find out that we're wrong, which is always the awkward thing of doing these reviews, doing these initial reactions. But
I mean, at least he knows her that, in some fashion. That's for certain.
Yeah. Because that can also be interpreted of Mom's waiting. It could be that's his child. It could be that's his sibling. It could be taken any sort of way, which I thought is interesting how it's ambiguous enough.
Considering the age gap, I highly doubt it's his sibling.
You have no idea, man. People are weird.
I mean, old guys, old people are horny also. So
Jesus. We start the show with pussy peas, and we end the show with old people are horny. This is the worst episode we have ever had.
You know that I don't really have a what's it called limit on how I can go sometimes.
This is the uncensored episode, guys. And it's only fitting that Midnight makes an appearance while we're talking this episode. Anyway, I'm interested to see where they go with that, right? Because he knows her. He's actually up there to this is the first time somebody's actually confronted her too. She's always kind of been lurking in the shadows. So what happens when somebody does step up to combat her? I don't know. And will Pop and Koichi have to reveal their identities to help, or will the pro heroes have to step in and help? There's a lot of setup, which I think is again funny that most of this mini storyline is so rooted in putting this festival thing together. And now all of a sudden it goes to crap. And all of these heroes are here, and they're going to probably have to step in and fight all the freaking kaijus that she makes.
Yeah. I mean, you forgot to mention, but you can say that the reader submits have to submit something considering Midnight are there.
Midnight's an interesting character because isn't her quirk like the ability to knock you unconscious, essentially?
Her quirk is basically to make you submit to her, essentially.
Well, you had to word it that way.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at all. But I think it makes it interesting putting her in combat scenarios, right? Because I feel like she would just knock everybody out. But I don't know. We don't see Midnight in combat scenarios too often. The only major one that I can remember is when she's fighting Sero and Mineta. And well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it shall be interesting to see how this goes. That's for certain.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next one. That's why I'm glad we're doing these in 4-chapter chunks. Because I don't know how it would have felt if we just kind of ended on chapter 21 or chapter 20, where it's like we're at a festival now. And where the heck is Captain Celebrity? That's my
I hope one of the coyotes eat his head off or something.
You really hate this man, don't you? Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to cover, Isaac, before we call this one a day?
No. It's what can I say? It's I think we have taken care of the cats enough, and so that so the episode doesn't sting enough, and we need to stop this whole thing before it pop ups too much.
This is my life, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Brandon only shows up once a week now. Like,
twice or thrice a week, depending on the week, considering Dororon and our hopefully JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusader next week. Yippee!
Shameless plugs. You hear that, Doron? JoJo's, My Hero Proper, My Hero Vigilantes, Attack on Titan. So much stuff is happening here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. If you enjoy these chaotic ramblings that we have on a nearly daily basis on this channel now, Attack on Titan's coming to an end. So if you guys are watching that, sub, dub, don't matter. Go back and watch and listen to all of our fantastic discussions on Shingeki no Kyojin and Demon Slayer. The dub is airing now, so all you dub watchers, go check out the Demon Slayer reviews. Isaac,
Yeah.
was there anything?
By the way,
else that we need to
speaking of
cover? Yeah.
Attack on Titan, I need to ask you something. Eller mention something. I'm afraid for the calendar because the days are numbered.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Amateur Otaku. We will catch you next time.
All right, dear.
Go beyond. Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.